You stand at the edge, not of the world, but of yourself. There is a hush in the air, a hush before the curtain lifts on a new scene. The precipice is not a place of external drama, but of silent inward readiness. Many sense this moment, the subtle trembling inside, the anticipation that something must give, that something in you is poised to break through, to reveal itself as the very substance of your next reality. Yet what is it that tips the balance? It is not effort, it is not the multiplication of actions, nor the frantic accumulation of facts, nor the feverish seeking of signs. This threshold is crossed by a shift much quieter, much deeper. It is crossed by a change in being, not in doing. It is not that you must strive to become more, it is that you become still enough to see you already are. The law of assumption, the law you breathe in and out with every thought, every inner word, is not waiting for your permission to operate. It is not a switch you flip only when you are attentive. It is the law beneath manifestation, the principle by which all appearances are ordered and reordered. Whether you know it or not, it is at work. Whether you direct it or not, it is shaping the world that rises to meet you each morning. Conscious or unconscious, the law is faithful. To live in the end is to step into the role as naturally as one steps into sunlight. It is to cease waiting for proof and to become the proof. You are not the seeker at the threshold. You are the threshold itself. The evidence you seek on the outside is but the echo of the state you have chosen within. When identity is shifted, all else reorganizes. Imagine a garden. If you plant a seed of oak, you will not reap roses. The garden does not ask, nor does it debate. It simply yields to the nature of the seed. Identity is the seed. The law is the soil. The world, your garden. Most wander through the garden pointing to the weeds, lamenting the barrenness, never suspecting that it is their own hand which has sown, their own heart that waters each day's harvest. It is not that you must do more, it is that you must be more conscious of what you are being. You are not here to struggle against the world, you are here to radiate from within, to let the fullness of your being outshine the shadow of lack. You do not chase, you attract by your state. So let us speak now not of effort, but of assumption, not of chasing, but of radiating. The law of assumption is not a philosophy to be admired from afar. It is the principle that says, what you believe yourself to be, you become. Not occasionally, not sometimes, but unceasingly. You are always assuming something about yourself, your world, your place in it. The only choice is whether you assume deliberately or by default. Most live by default, reacting to appearances, letting the outer dictate the inner. But the law does not respond to reaction. It responds to stance. It is not the storm that determines the course of the ship, but the hand upon the rudder. Your state of being is the hand. Your assumptions are the course. The outer world is but the sea, shifting and yielding to the direction you set. When you embody the end, when you feel the wish fulfilled, the world must echo that feeling. Consider the parable of the sculptor. She does not carve with doubt. She does not ask the marble for permission to reveal the form within. She sees within the unformed stone the completed figure. Her chisel is guided not by uncertainty, but by the clear vision of the finished work. So it is with you. To live in the end is to see yourself already as the one who has, who is, who radiates all you desire. You do not wait for circumstances to permit your identity. You permit yourself to assume the identity that calls those circumstances forth. This is not arrogance, but alignment. It is not wishful thinking, but the law at work. The sculptor does not wait for the statue to emerge by accident. She commands it into visibility with certainty. Likewise, the world responds to your sustained assumption, not to your fleeting hopes. You are not here to perform for reality. You are here to embody the reality you choose. As identity shifts, perception shifts. The inner dialogue softens. Where once there was striving, now there is quiet knowing. The questions that plagued you, when will it happen? How will it come? Are replaced by the serene certainty, it is done. The reaction to outer events loses its grip. You are no longer at the mercy of appearances because you know appearances are only the outpicturing of prior assumption. You do not react, you respond. You do not beg for proof, You stand in knowing. The world becomes a mirror, not a master. It is not circumstance that commands you, but your own sustained stance. In this way, you move from performance to embodiment, from seeking to radiating. You are not the victim of events, but the cause. You are not the effect of the world, but its origin. Let us turn now to the mystical act of feeling the wish fulfilled. This is not a mental rehearsal, but a full immersion in the end result. You do not imagine as an outsider peering through a window at what you desire. You step in, take your place, and feel as though it were already true. The body relaxes, the mind grows still. The heart claims what the senses have not yet reported. And in this sacred inwardness, the law is set in motion. You do not beg for change, you assume the change is done. The feeling is not a performance for some outer deity, but a self-bestowal. When you feel the wish fulfilled, you plant the seed of new identity. You are not lacking, but full. You do not strive, you receive. You do not chase, you become. The state you occupy becomes the world you witness. Now revision. The past is not a fixed monument, but soft clay in your hands. What you revise inwardly, you erase outwardly. Most believe they are prisoners of what was, but the law says otherwise. To revise is to return to a scene, not as a victim, but as the author. You see it as you wish it had been, and you feel it so. The memory shifts. The emotional charge dissolves. The world, sensing your new stance, reorganizes to match. It is not denial, but creative command. You do not change the past by force. You change it by assumption. The revised state becomes your dominant vibration, and the world must reflect it. You are not bound by your history. You are free to author it anew. This is not fantasy, but law. You do not perform revision. You embody the revised state. SATS, state akin to sleep, is the gateway. In that drowsy borderland where the mind is quiet and the senses are hushed, assumption becomes effortless. You slip beneath the surface of thought into the fertile soil of being. Here you impress upon the subconscious the feeling of already having. You do not struggle, you surrender. You do not repeat, you become. The state akin to sleep is not a technique, but a threshold, where the old self is left behind and the new is assumed. The body is still, the mind is receptive. You inhabit the scene of your desire, not as a spectator, but as a participant. And in that stillness, the law responds. The assumption made in SATS is the assumption the world must echo. You are not seeking, you are radiating, you are not hoping, you are being. Imagination creates reality. This is not poetry, it is principle. The world you see is the outpicturing of your sustained inner imagery. What you hold in imagination, you hold in being. The outer reorganizes around the inner. To imagine is not to pretend, but to create. The law does not ask if you are worthy, nor does it care for effort. It responds to the dominant image, the felt reality within. Most imagine lack, and so lack persists. But when you imagine fullness, abundance, completion, the world must yield. You are not here to fix the outer. You are here to command the inner. The world is not the cause, but the effect. You are not the servant of circumstance. You are the architect of it. The power is in your being, not your doing. Affirmations, then, are not incantations to persuade a reluctant world. They are the language of identity, the voice of being. When you affirm, I am already the version of myself who has everything I desire, you are not asking for permission to become. You are declaring inwardly who you are. The affirmation is not for the world, but for your own consciousness. It is the seed planted in the fertile ground of assumption. The world cannot help but reflect it. You do not repeat to convince, you repeat to assume. The dominant affirmation becomes the dominant reality. It is not the number of repetitions, but the depth of feeling. You do not chant for change, you declare from fullness. The affirmation is the assumption. The assumption is the state. The state is the world. Let us test this law now. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to see more clearly. Walk inward to the center of your being. Feel the state of already having, already being. See yourself not as you have been, but as you choose to be. Speak inwardly, not to the world, but to your own heart. I am already the version of myself who has everything I desire. Feel the resonance. Notice how the body shifts, the mind quiets, the heart expands. You are not reaching, you are receiving. You are not asking, you are assuming. Stay here. Let the feeling deepen. Let it become familiar. The law is set in motion by the identity you now claim. The world must echo what you sustain within. You are not the seeker. You are the source. There is a rhythm to assumption, a cadence to being. Each day, each hour, you are offered the choice to react to what is or to assume what shall be. The world will tempt you to return to seeking, to chase after shadows, to doubt your own being. But the law is not moved by doubt. It is moved by faith. Faith not in some distant power, but in your own imagination. You do not need proof before you assume. You assume, and the proof appears. It is not the outer that justifies the inner. It is the inner that commands the outer. You are not a performer in the theater of life. You are the playwright. The script is written in the language of assumption. The stage is set by your state of being. The audience is the world, responding to your lead. A story. A man desired abundance, yet all he saw was lack. He affirmed, he worked, he chased, but the harvest was barren. One night, weary, he ceased striving and simply assumed, I am already abundant. He felt the fullness, the richness, without evidence. In the days that followed, opportunities appeared not from effort, but from alignment. The world had not changed. He had. The reflection followed the stance. He was no longer the one seeking. He was the one radiating. The law had not begun to work. It had begun to be directed. So it is for you. The shift is inward. The change is in being. The world is the mirror, not the source. The mechanics are invisible, but the results are inevitable. When the inner stance is shifted, when assumption is sustained, circumstances reorganize. People, events, opportunities all move into harmony with your being. It is not that you force the world, you invite it. It is not manipulation, but magnetism. The world is drawn to the state you embody. You do not chase, you attract. You do not plead, you command, silently, inwardly, with certainty. This is the law, tested and proven by all who dare to assume deliberately. The question is never whether the law is working. The question is whether you are working the law. Most live in reaction, few in conscious command. But all are creating, all are assuming, all are being. The difference is only in direction. Let the affirmation become your inner song. I am already the version of myself who has everything I desire. Speak it not with desperation, but with quiet authority. Let it settle in the bones. Let it color every thought, every action, every interaction. You do not need the world's permission to be. You do not need the evidence to believe. You believe, and the evidence appears. This is not arrogance, but creative fidelity. You are faithful to the vision within, not the appearances without. You are not a beggar at the table of life. You are the host. You do not perform for the world. You invite the world to perform for you. The affirmation is the key, the assumption is the door, the state is the room. Enter and dwell there. Now, as you rise from this deep inwardness, carry the state with you. Let the world be the mirror, but not the master. Move through your days as the one who already is, already has, already radiates. When doubt whispers, return to the affirmation. When appearances contradict, return to the feeling. When the world tempts you to react, return to your stance. You are not here to chase. You are here to attract. You are not here to strive. You are here to be. The law is faithful, the principle unerring. Test it. Assume the state. Remain faithful. The world will rearrange. You are already the version of yourself who has everything you desire.